Something is happening right now, and if you're a business owner or a marketing and sales leader, you probably see it too. Look, digital marketing is changing fast. AI is changing fast. How our customers buy is changing fast. It's harder than ever to stand out, get attention online, and ultimately get leads and sales. But not for you because you're going to watch this short video. It probably could feel like maybe the ground's moving underneath you. And I know this because I've been in marketing for 12 years. I know I look pretty young, but I've been doing this since I've been 18 and I'm about to be 31. And I've never seen more change, especially like the last year. And the thing is, it's not just AI. This is not a video just about AI. This is a video about what I'm seeing across the clients we work with in dozens of different industries at our agency Revenue Boost and what I'm seeing from my own marketing, my own personal brand. But yeah, things changed a lot when ChatGPT came out. AI is part of it. But really the last year, it's more than just AI. It's like just the way, like consumer behavior has just changed, right? People have been seeing a lot of the same marketing and sales tactics. So we've changed our strategy dramatically. I've cut 80% of our PPC budget on meta ads, and I'm going to share with you the 3 moves I'm making instead. So I'm going to walk through 3 B2B marketing strategies that we're doubling down on. They're still relevant too if you're in B2C. And also why I cut 80% of our ads budget and threw away like 2 months of work and money. And we also dialed back our cold outbound campaigns. We're still doing outbound. We're still having a lot of success with things like cold email, LinkedIn, and we're about to restart some campaigns. So we're still doing that, but we're doing it differently. So if you want to get more leads, get more clients and grow, and more importantly than just growing, if you want to just like be more stable and just protect your business and make sure that you have a bulletproof plan for 2026 second half, 2027, 2028. If you want to make sure that your business is not going to be screwed over by the next big change, the next big AI, the next big algorithm change, this is going to future-proof your business. Hi, I'm AJ Casada. I'm the co-founder of Revenue Boost. We've helped over 450 B2B companies get more leads, get more appointments, and sign more clients using a mix of outbound as well as paid ads and content. But we've helped tons of businesses. So everything I'm sharing today is just based on experience, based on data, right? I have a really unique look into digital marketing and the online business world because we've worked with like 70 different B2B industries and we see the patterns. I see the data day in, day out. This is not just me making a random YouTube video about an idea I had. This is like me just sharing with you like what I'm seeing and what's working and what's not working and what I'm doing differently because of it. And by the end of this video, you should have a much clearer idea of what you can do to not only grow, but also adapt and thrive in this changing AI age, right? So here's what happened. I noticed a few things and I started to realize a pattern, right? So here's what I've been noticing. I mean, to a degree for the last couple of years, but more so in the last like year and a half. First of all, prospects are just more hesitant to book a sales call and to show up, right? Like, have you felt like it was maybe easier to get someone on a sales call 3-5 years ago than it was now, right? The thing is like, even though you might say that it's a free strategy call or free consultation, it's not free. You're asking them for something more valuable than their money, which is their time, right? To get a CEO or like if you're in B2B, right? To get a CEO or a VP of sales or a VP of operations onto a 45-minute call, you're taking an hour out of their time, right? And especially if you're dealing with like pretty big companies and you're reaching an executive or the owner, an hour of their time might be worth $500 an hour, right? And you're basically asking them for $500, right? So prospects are more hesitant to book on sales call. And just because honestly, they're busier than ever, right? But also they've been on so many sales calls that were not valuable, right? They've been on those high pressure sales calls. And thirdly, information distribution has changed. I know that sounds a little markety, but here, just bear with me for a second. So 5 years ago, okay, so I've been doing marketing 12 years. 12 years ago, when digital marketing was not much of a thing, salespeople played a really valuable role. What was that role? Well, they gave information, right? Think about it. If I could just make you time travel to 1990, which that would be pretty cool because the 90s are pretty freaking awesome. I was born in 95 and I love that era. I truly believe it was the best in terms of culture. But anyways, if you were going to go back to 1990, right? 1995, the year I was born, and you were going to like hop on let's say you need to hire a service. Let's say you needed an HVAC technician, or let's say you have a business and you needed like a CFO or like a fractional CFO or like a tax advisor, right? You would need to book a sales call because the salespeople would have unique information. They'd have advice. They'd have insights. But now in today's day and age, 2026, information is everywhere, right? No one needs to go to a salesperson to learn something. They can ask AI. They can watch videos on YouTube. They can follow your company's posts on LinkedIn. So if you're not doing any of those things, if you're not showing up in those places, you are screwed. If your model relies on people getting information from your salespeople, you are living in a different time period, right? So prospects are more hesitant to book a sales call because they want to get more information on their own. And it makes sense. I do the same thing. You probably do as well, right? Like think about the last few big purchases you've made in your business. You probably did a lot of research first. Maybe you watched YouTube videos, maybe you asked AI. And then when you were kind of closer to making a decision, then you hopped on a sales call. That's very different than how it was even 5 or 10 years ago, right? Again, when I share the 3 marketing moves in a little bit, it's going to basically solve all these problems, right? You're going to really see like, again, this is not just theory. This is like how I've literally changed my marketing strategy and reallocated marketing budget. So this is the first thing. Second, cold emailing a list still works fantastic. We have clients, so we're a marketing agency, right? B2B marketing and growth agency. We have clients where cold email is their number one source of new business and new sales, right? It still works great. But to be honest, the response rates went down, and we just have to work harder to book calls for us and our clients than we did even 2 years ago. So if you're wondering, does cold email still work? It absolutely still works, but it just takes more effort and creativity and strategy, right? And look, here's one of our clients, got them 133 opportunities, 3+% reply rate, absolutely crushing it. They've closed a lot of these deals. So it still works, right? But it's just changed, right? And I'm going to talk about why if you stick with me in a little bit. And by the way, on the note of cold email, there's a link in the description. If you want any help with outbound campaigns, cold email, LinkedIn, or just any other strategies to help you book calls and you're a B2B business, you can book a call below. We actually do a free outbound strategy and marketing plan. So you can book a call with us and just get some help there. First call is free. Anyways, another realization is that outbound campaigns we built tend to work better when our client has a brand and a somewhat decent, that was an intentional word choice, somewhat decent online presence. Meaning, so a lot of companies, tech companies, professional services business, a lot of B2B companies come to us because they want more demos. They want more booked calls for their sales team, right? And we noticed that so one of our clients is, I'm not going to say who, but it's one of the biggest marketing agencies in America. They have 500 plus employees, fantastic online presence, right? Built out website, good branding, good differentiation. When we work with a client like that, it's easier to get results in some ways. Like this, they have their challenges too, but essentially we start to notice that like a lot of the leads we generate for our clients weren't even tracked to us because we would cold email their prospects and some people would just not reply to our cold email and they go to the website and then book a call if it was good. And think about it. You probably do this too. Think about it. Think about the last time that you saw a cold email or like a LinkedIn DM, someone pitched you, but it was actually interesting. I bet if you were moderately interested, you probably checked out their LinkedIn profile or you probably went to their website. I do the same thing because if I'm like, you know what? My time is valuable, right? As is yours. And if someone sends me an interesting cold email pitch, if I'm interested, but I'm not totally sure if I want to hop on a call, I'm going to check out their website, see if it looks legit, right? So what does that mean for you? If you've neglected your online presence, like you're not posting content or you're not posting good content. I'm not talking about AI slop content. If you're doing that, you're better off just not posting anything because the internet has enough of that. Please do not add more shitty AI content to the internet. We don't need any more of that, please. Thank you. But if you're not posting good content, if you haven't really worked on your website and your brand, I don't just mean you have a website. I mean, you have a website that has great branding and communicates how you are better and different than your competitors. If you don't have that, all of your other marketing efforts are going to suffer, right? And this, you could say that this is always the case to a degree, but it's been the case more recently. So for example, if you're running cold outbound campaigns, if you're running Facebook ads, right? LinkedIn ads, whatever. We notice that when we run these campaigns, if the client has a decent online presence, it works better because people are looking at everything. They're looking at your business. No one's going to not look at your business, right? Why would they, right? So if you've neglected this, realize that it might be hurting you more than you think. Also, I also learned recently that getting amazing results from paid ads is harder. I was doing it the old way. I remember there was one time where we spent 30 grand on ads and got 30 grand back, which isn't bad. At least we made something. I mean, we didn't make something, but at least we recouped some of it. But that's not what we want, right? So the strategies for paid ads have changed too. And also AI content is everywhere and the internet is noisier than ever. Don't you feel I personally deleted social media off my phone a couple months ago and it's been great, but I'm just freaking tired of, actually, I'm not even gonna say that. I don't have to limit my cursing because we don't have ads on this channel. I am fucking tired of the AI content slop, right? I mean, it's been estimated that over half of the content on LinkedIn is AI generated. That's bonkers. Here's my perspective. If you are writing like AI content and it's not very good, please stop. You're either write good content or don't write content, right? And look, you can use AI, but just don't. There's a way to use AI content, and I have more videos on my channel about that. But basically, everyone's pumping out shitty AI posts and blogs and everything, and now videos too. And the internet is just noisy than ever, which is why if it's been feeling harder to get attention, harder to get leads, harder to get clients online, this is why. This is what I've noticed. So here's one of our clients, Anik Singhal. I'm in his mastermind too. Absolutely great dude. He did a talk recently where he basically said the same thing. He was saying that, so Anik is known for webinar funnels, right? You might also know Jason Fladley, and it's a friend of his. They've partnered together on a bunch of stuff. And Anik has made, he's made over $100 million in sales online, and primarily through webinar funnels, where you put up an ad and people go to like a 90-minute presentation, and then you pitch a product at the end of it, right? But he said that the whole thing that he's built most of his career on has virtually stopped working. He still does webinar funnels, but he usually does it for his warm audience, like his email list and his social followers. But he said like the old way of just getting people, just running an ad to a cold audience, getting them on a webinar and getting them to shell out a couple grand, it just doesn't work anymore, right? Unless you're literally the top 0.001% marketer, which he is, and he's struggling with it, right? So that was an eye-opener. I was with him in Dominican Republic. We had a mastermind event, and he shared like 8 bullet points similar to my 5 bullet points about how he's seeing that it's just harder to get people attention online. And one of the things he also shared is that people are just freaking burned out of marketing and sales. Aren't you, right? Like the whole sit through a long webinar, hop on a high pressure sales call, right? Social media posts that add no value, just try to sell you, right? YouTube videos that actually don't add value. Like if you guys are following my content, you probably noticed that like I just get to the value. I'm not making these videos because they're just a giant sales pitch. Like obviously, if you want to work with us and have us grow your business and get you leads and appointments, there's links in the description to do that. But all of my videos are just about value, right? And you probably watch a lot of YouTube videos where it's like people are just saying useless bullshit fluff for like 10, 20 minutes and then just giving you a CTA to like book a call. Like it's pointless, right? So people are just burned out on marketing and sales tactics. So he was sharing how he's reinvented his whole business as well because the consumer has just changed. Again, this is the visual I want, burned into your brain and your subconscious. This is what's happening right now. So anyways, basically in summary, people's attention is harder to get and their skepticism is higher, rightfully so. If I could put an emoji on what the market is like right now, it's pretty much this. When people see your ads, your cold emails, your webinar, your YouTube video, they already are coming in with a face like this, right? So what does this mean? Does this mean that you should give up, quit, and go become a country singer? No. It means that you have to try harder to get their attention, right? Boo-hoo. It is what it is. The world changes. And let's talk about how it's changing. So again, key insight is consumers are burned out on marketing and sales tactics, busier than ever, especially B2B. They have more information than ever because of AI, and they have more options than ever, right? So let's say that, so we work with a lot of SaaS companies. We grow a lot of B2B SaaS companies. Let's say that you have a software company and it has like some sort of financial automation, like automating your financial reports. Guess what? You and everybody else, right? Unless you truly have, SaaS is a little bit different. Like a lot of SaaS companies are truly unique. But now it's harder because people could just vibe code a SaaS, right? But especially if you're a services business, like an agency or like an accounting firm or something, consultant, like business consultant, this really is going to hit home with you. Like your customers have more options. If you've cold emailed someone and said, hey, I do business consulting, right? Or you made a post about your business consulting work, for example, there are like hundreds of thousands of other business consultants, right? So your customers have more options than ever. They have more information than ever. They're busier than ever, and they're burned out and they don't want to hop on calls, right? As much. So that's the key insight here, right? Now, look, marketing has always been about building two things. I think a lot of people complicate marketing, right? I've kind of done it too. I've been doing it for 12 years and I only really feel like I really get it the last like couple of years, which is crazy. To me, marketing is the most complicated part of business because you have to know about every department. You have to know operations, sales, finance, product, everything. But it really is simple. I can simplify it to two things. You only need attention and trust. You need attention to get people into your funnel and you need trust to turn them into a paying client. Like to me, like this is marketing and marketing does this, but then this also becomes sales, right? And now it's just more difficult to win that trust because people have been burned out by bad services. So this is more for the agencies and the coaches, consultants out there, less than like SaaS people listening, but even still so it's relevant. If you're like, I'm a marketing agency. I'm not a marketing agency, but I run a marketing agency. But if you're selling a service that's like can be somewhat of a commodity, people have probably hired someone like you before and been screwed over. People have bought that 10K coaching program. Like, you listen to this. Has it happened to you? Have you ever bought a coaching program or hired an agency or hired a freelancer and they did bad work? Guess what? So people are skeptical, right? So anyways, long story short, the way I could summarize it is we're relying less now on traditional DR, which is direct response marketing, like a lead gen campaign, and more on branding and inbound, right? So here specifically are the marketing moves I'm making. Number one, gave away the farm there. So number one is custom lead magnets, right? So we are giving more insane free value than ever. Subscribe to the channel, by the way, because next month we're giving away a $2,000 course literally for free. So that's an example of it, right? But here's the thing, lead magnets are changed. Your old lead magnets are going to stop working if they haven't already. So if your lead magnets are ebooks, white papers, case studies, guess what? Those are really, really low in value now. Why? Because AI can generate an ebook, a case study, a white paper, right? So those are just much less valuable now. And honestly, people just don't read as much anymore, right? High-end B2B buyers are more likely to, but still. So text-based lead magnets are bad because AI can do that. Videos, giving away a mini app like a software tool, actual services or actual consulting are the way to go. So custom lead magnets, why do I call it custom? Because you got to hop on a call to get it. And you're doing it once for that person. There's a higher perceived value, basically just like actually help people personally is the best lead magnet you can have, right? And also go on my channel. I have another video, might even be a year ago, about lead magnet. Like I have a whole lead magnet masterclass where I talk about this. This has been probably like whenever we have a client's marketing campaign, whether it's a cold email campaign or something else, if we're struggling to get results and then we try one of these lead magnets, it's almost always the thing that fixes it and gets more leads. But at the end of the day, people want to talk to people, right? People are tired of reading AI slop, so they want to talk to people. So here's an example, right? I already told you that like you could book a call down below and you could get a free go-to-market plan and a free outbound marketing strategy. And that's actually legitimately valuable. People pay us. I mean, people like my consulting rate is $1,500 for an hour. So think about all the value you'd be getting for free, right? So I'm giving away I'm giving away higher quality free stuff now. I mean, that's always been part of my strategy. I've been doing that for like 6 years, but more than ever. So basically, again, the bar to get your customers' attention is higher. So custom lead magnets are the way to go. Quick tip for you. Think about your process when you onboard a client. What's one small piece of that process that solves a problem that you can give away for free? It could be a small piece of your entire system, or it could be a limited time trial to that system. Or it could just be an analysis or an audit, like some sort of like diagnostic or like consulting around your process. Those three things work really well. And that should give you a bunch of ideas. Next is personal brands. So I basically decided this year to go from doing content sporadically to consistent and weekly rhythms and really building a media company, right? Actually, I might have this down. Yeah, I do have it down here. So look, I've been doing personal brand forever. I mean, not forever, but for a lot of my business career. And I've always just done content sporadically. I've tried to do the post every day and 2 YouTube videos a week and whatever it is. And if you look at my channel, you see I've unfortunately been sporadic with it, right? But what I realize now is if I'm going to be doing content, I'm either going to do it fully and professionally or I'm not going to do it at all. Here's the benefit though, right? Platforms like it, and also you get more predictable leads. So when I say platforms like it, let me tell you stories. So I know I'm friends with the brand manager at Founder. You might know Founder. It's founderwithoutane.com. And he was saying that he knew someone that went really viral on YouTube and TikTok, and then their business just disappeared. Like they couldn't get the attention back because he got so overwhelmed by all the new opportunities from going viral. He stopped posting content. And then when he started posting content again, he was not really getting views on it. So platforms really, really want you to keep posting consistently. But anyway, so, okay, first of all, if you don't have a personal brand, well, actually, everyone has a personal brand. Your personal brand just might be only limited to like your friends and your clients in your local town, right? So everyone has a personal brand, but if you don't have a personal brand online, start. And I mean, start like today, like after this video, just go post freaking something, just anything. So here's my thesis, right? The world is becoming more artificial. The digital world is becoming more fake, right? As seen by the sloppy, shitty YouTube and not YouTube, but mostly LinkedIn posts. As the world becomes more artificial, more people are going to place a higher value on what? Real stuff, real people, real content, real personal brands, right? So the world's already becoming more artificial. people are going to get more fed up with that, which means it's going to create more desire and interest for like real, right? Like people want to hear from real people. No one wants to hear from an AI. No one wants to read an AI written post. They want to hear from a real person, right? So if you're not doing personal brand, do it. But if you are doing it, maybe you made the mistake like me of just kind of like I would say I was half-assing it. I always tried to put good content, but I wasn't consistent with it, right? So make a content calendar and make content pillars and post every single day. At least start maybe with like 3 posts a week, but you want to work up to like once a day. So basically I've just made that shift with my personal brand because I just see that the world is shifting. And remember, it's about attention and trust, right? So there's no better way to build trust than personal brand. I don't care what business you're in, you can always put a face behind it. And if you don't want to put your face behind your business, I completely understand, but hire someone who will. If your brand is faceless, like when I go on a website that has no faces anywhere and on social media they have no faces, like I just think it's AI, right? And subconsciously your customers think it as well, right? People do not connect with company brands nearly as much as they connect with personal brands, right? Unless you're like Nike or Red Bull, people are not connecting with your company brand very much. Third marketing move, super high quality video content. So we've been working on this for months and you're gonna start to see it on our YouTube. But here's a podcast I did by the beach with 2 AI guys, my friend Jack and Rich, Jack Austin and Rich Watson. There's our boy Max, video guy. Anyways, so I'm now making a shift from being a solo creator to a media company. Meaning I have a long form editor, I have a short form editor, I have a content manager now, right? I'm just, again, going pro with it, right? So back to my earlier thesis about how the world's becoming more artificial. So people are going to be dying for something real and dying for like real connection and community through content, right? So there's no better way to do it than video content. Essentially, people are now like so skeptical that things are fake. So you have to do things that are clearly real, right? Like super high quality video content. Now, this takes time. This takes money. There was 1 week recently where I spent 3 days filming with Max actually, right? And then now we got to go into post-production and editing feedback and all of this, right? So it obviously costs a little bit of budget to get a guy like Max and an editing crew and, drive to locations and pay for their lunch and all that stuff, rent lights, all that stuff. But here's why I actually cut 80% of my Meta ads budget. So I was running Meta ads and we actually closed our first client from the Meta ads campaign. So it was profitable. But I realized, you know what? If I take 80% of this budget and I put it into video production expenses, I'm going to get way more because the cool thing about organic video content is not only can you get leads, but you're building your brand at the same time. So it's like you get the short-term and the long-term benefit. So my benefit here is that now that I have a media company, I don't have to do everything myself. I can just create and I don't have to manage, right? We're more effective, more efficient, so we can get better results. So these are the 3 marketing moves I made. Happy to answer questions in the comments. I'll probably if you guys want, comment number 1, 2, or 3. Tell me which one you want me to dive deeper into. And I'll potentially make a video soon about diving deep into each one of these 3, right? But these are 3 things. So custom lead magnets, personal brand, and super high quality video content. Because again, you need to try harder to get attention and to win trust. And by the way, the in-person video content, not only, it does both of those, right? It builds attention because it's a better aesthetic, and it builds trust because you're like seeing real people, right? And connecting with people. So anyways, I'll go deeper in different videos, but those are the 3 moves I'm making. This is what I'm betting my marketing budget on, my money, my time. And again, I threw out like months of work because I saw these things happening, right? And I realized like I can't keep living in the old world. So now you might be wondering, where does outbound fit in? Because if you've been following me for a while, you know that we are like badasses with cold email, right? We've run thousands of cold email and outbound campaigns. So you might be wondering, why is outbound on the list? I mean, it is. These are just the 3 like new things that are like the top focus at our company, but we're still doing outbound, right? So first of all, we're doing outbound because when we want to do really targeted marketing, outbound is really good for that, right? Because it's hard to get in front of like a really targeted group of people with, video content, right? You got to do outbound for that. But also here's the thing. We're still doing outbound, but now instead of outbound just saying, hey, let's book a call, we're doing outbound campaigns, sending cold emails, but giving away these insanely valuable lead magnets. And that works really, really well. I've been doing that for 5 years. I'm just doing it more now. And also the thing is that when you build your personal brand, when you post on LinkedIn or whatever you do, or video content on YouTube, do inbound led outbound, right? Instead of just outbounding to cold leads, outbound to people who've visited your website, downloaded your lead magnet, followed you on LinkedIn. You can actually get emails of people that have visited your website. using tools like our B2B. So anyways, Alex Hormozy calls this warm outreach. I call it inbound led outbound. Doesn't matter what it's called, but essentially like all this stuff is about building your brand and building your awareness and attention. And you should be using outbound to reach out to your warm leads. This is where most creators go along. I know a lot of people that have hundreds of times more followers than me, but are not making nearly as much in their business or in their income. And it's because they're not monetizing their attention. So outbound is really good middle of the funnel to monetize your leads and attention. Now, last thing I'll say is this picture I made with Nano Banana pretty much summarizes what's happening, right? There's two types of marketing. There's brand building and there's direct response. Direct response is like I put up a Facebook ad and I book calls, or I send cold emails and I book calls. Brand is like this. Video content, right? Like if you're doing YouTube, you got to be prepared to do it for a year without making any money. You might make money sooner, but I don't think in the first year of YouTube we closed a client from it. And maybe also I was new to it. I wasn't very good at it. But brand building stuff is longer term. So a lot of marketers gravitate towards direct response. But the problem with direct response is you're not building anything of long-term value other than the system, right? But it doesn't build as much trust as brand, right? So if you only do direct response, you always get leads and sales coming in. But the second you stop your Facebook ads or your cold email, you're done. Or the second that you have an algorithm change and your Facebook ads tank, or there's a deliverability change and cold email gets harder, like your lifeline is just shut off, right? So brand is like your protection mechanism in this new age, right? Again, people are starving for trust, dying for real things, real companies, real content, real people. So balance both, right? So your marketing strategy should have a balance of direct response because that pays the bills now, and then brand, which protects you in the long term. And also they work together because, again, if you send cold emails out, but you have a good brand, people will check your website, they'll check your LinkedIn profile, they'll see that you've been posting every day, and they'll be more likely to book a call and to buy, right? So they also both affect each other. And if you're doing a lot of brand but not enough direct response, then you need to be doing direct response because maybe you have a lot of followers from your brand, but you're not actually DMing them and getting them on sales calls. So both are very important. But anyways, I hope this was useful for you. Comment down below which one you want me to go into deeper. Subscribe if you want more actionable B2B marketing and sales content. And also, if you want a free GTM strategy and marketing plan, I will build one for you personally. My team and I will create this for you completely free. Book a call in the link below. You have to be a B2B company as well. And ideally doing at least $500,000 a year because it's going to be kind of built for like that sort of demographic. So anyways, if you want a free strategy, free help, if you want to talk about these 3 marketing moves, book a call down below and let's help you out. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Hey, I'm AJ Quesada, co-founder of Revenue Boost. Really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, make sure to leave me a comment and definitely subscribe right now so that you're notified of all the cool stuff we're doing, all the cool tactics, tips, and strategies that we share here on the channel. We help B2B companies scale to 7 to 8 figures. We've helped over 400 clients and we can help you too. And we share some amazing stuff on the channel here. So really hope you enjoyed. And if you do, let me know in the comments and be sure to subscribe. All right, back to the video.